The pressure is on for Jerome Powell. Apparently, he's no longer needed inside the offices of the Fed or the White House or anything else that has to do with finances, because crypto is here and people want this to boom. And in order for that to happen, there have to be rate cuts that need to be implemented, and Jerome Powell stands in the way of that happening. So I think his time is up. And basically, I mean, he's 72 years old. The legal retirement age is at 65. And so he is well past his retiring age. And granted, he may have done a very good job so far, but I think it's fair to say that the man needs to step down. And I think after all the pressure that is being put on him right now, I think he will appreciate just having some time off and just giving it a rest, because there is a lot of pressure on him today. This and a bunch of other stuff coming up on today's video. Welcome back to the CryptoFather channel. Today is the 23rd of July. First things first, we're going to jump into the markets. Let's have a quick look at what's happening in the markets. The markets are on fire. We're past $4 trillion. So we just zipped right past $4 trillion market cap for the crypto world. Ethereum is standing at 11.1% dominance, Bitcoin at 59.2, which is a massive drop. It's about 7% drop from, I think it was at 66 at some point. Trading volume at $258 billion. That's massive. Like, the trading volumes tended to be in the 50s, 60s, 70s, somewhere between like 50 and 120 billion dollars. Now, for the past, I think, two consecutive days, we've seen it at over $200 billion. Bitcoin standing at 119,000, which probably means that it's ready for another leg up. Ethereum $3,700. XRP is at 354. I've got an article about XRP. I don't read about XRP at all on this channel, but I've got an article about XRP. BNB 778. Solana finally at $200. Will it hold this level? This is a nice round number, so it really needs to hold this number or else. But I think it may be secure. We've got a 25% pump on the 7 days, 3% pump on the 24 hours. So I think Solana may have secured that $200 and it might go up further. Will we see $1,000 Solana? That would be interesting. Cardano at 89 cents. We need to see Cardano pump hard. And also the thing that we need to see pump hard is Polkadot. I can't believe that Polkadot is still on the 30th place at below $5. It's incredible. Pick up Polkadot right now, because once it starts pumping, and it will start pumping, this thing is going to fly. Litecoin $117. We've got Hedra also making some gains here, 20% on 7 days. Pi Network also turning green from 45 to 42 at 48 cents. And quick look at Meowcoin. Meowcoin's pumping as well, 11.38%. Market cap back up to $540,000. The U.S. Senate unveils new cryptocurrency regulation proposal. The U.S. Senate released a draft on new cryptocurrency regulations. Regulatory clarity aims to enhance innovation, potential institutional shifts in digital asset markets. Senators led by Tim Scott and Cynthia Lummis introduced a cryptocurrency regulatory framework draft on July 22nd, which was just yesterday. The proposal aims to clarify existing laws, potentially influencing asset markets by defining regulatory roles and boosting investor confidence. The draft has been circulated, intending to revamp U.S. cryptocurrency regulation, emphasizing token classification and decentralization. The draft aligns with precedents like the Clarity Act and Loomis-Gillibrand bill. The aim of the draft is to enhance clarity on roles for SEC and CFTC, influencing institutional participation by setting reporting and custody standards. Market reactions remain cautious, as the bill aims to prevent innovation from moving abroad while providing robust consumer protection. Now that the USA seems to be moving forward with the adoption, with like mass adoption of cryptocurrencies and making it, its home brew, in order for governments and financial institutions to be able to function properly within the cryptocurrency ecosystem, there need to be regulations. Everything needs to be regulated. It has to be responsible to the regulatory frameworks. There need to be security guards in place so that financial institutions don't basically get scammed by regular scammers, right? This is a new take, and these ancient institutions, banks and SECs and other regulatory frameworks don't have the capability just yet to wrap their heads around all of that, all the aspects of cryptocurrencies. And so that needs to be put in place before things start to move forward properly and before crypto becomes a fully adopted means of conducting financial transactions, because otherwise it's going to be chaos, right? When the government doesn't really have a grasp on the finances of a nation, that's a problem. So the aim with everything that they're doing right now is to do that, to put these regulatory frameworks into place so that everything can be controlled and everything is clear, I guess, hence the name, for Clarity Act. So these proposals are going to snowball now that things have been put in motion with the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Act, all of these wonderful things. Republican lawmaker seeks criminal probe into Fed Chair Jerome Powell over perjury accusations. So there's a lot of heat coming down onto Jeremy over here. Anna Paulina Luna alleges Paul misled Senate investigators on high-end building plans while Republicans debate the political fallout of a possible probe. And I think the reference is made to some kind of upgrades that they did, or expansion, whatever they did to the Fed. Republican Anna Luna sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Justice alleging misconduct by Jerome Powell. He may be tried for perjury, which is a serious accusation. She also accused him of deliberately concealing excessive costs related to a construction project. And so this is definitely referring to the construction of the Fed, or whatever they were doing there on the Fed. Republican and ally of U.S. President Donald Trump, Anna Paulina, has asked the U.S. Department of Justice to initiate a criminal case against Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, according to an official letter published by Fox. On June 25th, Powell testified under oath during a hearing before the U.S. Senate Banking Committee. According to Luna, who voted against advancing the crypto legislation, Powell denied that luxury amenities were included in a new plan to redevelop the Exless building, the Federal Reserve's headquarters. In her letter, Luna states that Powell made materially false statements regarding the presence of a VIP dining room, marble finishes, water installations, and a roof garden and modern elevators. The scale and cost of the construction, which increased from 1.9 billion to 2.5 billion. So that's like 600,000 additional money that was spent on construction that wasn't supposed to be there. And but I guess the principle is there. I mean, it's not a big amount of money in the grand scheme of things. I don't know, maybe I'm becoming desensitized looking at all these millions of dollars. I got squat, but like when you constantly read about crypto prices and crypto money that is moving around, there are millions and trillions moving. 600 million doesn't really seem like that much all of a sudden. In any case, there's a lot of heat on Jerome Powell. So now we've got this, because apparently the pressure that was being put on him in order to resign, that's not really working so much. The 72-year-old dude is still clinging on to power. He likes the power. And Trump wants the rate cuts. And by the way, the rate cuts have still not been implemented. Whether they will be or not is questionable. Some say that if Jerome Powell stands down, that if he resigns, that's going to put the economy into a recession, or it's not going to be a good time for financial institutions. That's the suggestion. But it looks like there's a lot of pressure on Jerome. Jerome economist urges Powell to resign as Fed faces political pressure from Trump. Mohammed El Arian suggests Powell should resign to shield the Fed from escalating political attacks. Trump criticizes Powell for maintaining high interest rates and hints at appointing a replacement. Treasury Secretary Bessent defends Powell's service, but pushes for an internal review of Fed operations. And Powell will step down, and he's either going to be fired or he will resign. I mean, he is 72. And I stressed that several times. I did stress that several times. He is 72. He's way past his legal age of retirement. And so it's only fair. And I think he's going to cave in. He's just going to give in because there's so much pressure being put in from all sorts. I mean, he's being sued, or he's being, they're trying to sue him for perjury. There is a lot of pressure coming from the Trump administration wanting him to cut rates, and Jerome is basically resisting against that. So I think in the end, what is going to happen, Jerome will step down, a new person will come in, replace him, and the rates will be cut, and things will be green again, and we're going to see a massive pump on crypto. It's going to be insane. Figma just dropped 100 million Bitcoin ETF play. Figma revealed a 100 million Bitcoin ETF play just ahead of its IPO. The company may tokenize stock in the future via blockchain common stock. Unlike MicroStrategy, Figma is playing the crypto game slow, safe, and strategic. Figma's IPO isn't just about design software, it's now also about Bitcoin. As the company gets ready to go public, it has quietly revealed something unexpected in its SEC filing. 70 million Bitcoin ETF position, and that's just the beginning. More companies are picking up Bitcoin in order to secure their standing, in order to secure their finances. On top of that, the board has also approved another 30 million to be converted into Bitcoin later, currently held in USDC. So they've got $100 million in cryptocurrencies, essentially 70 million of that is in Bitcoin and another 30 in stable coins, which are to be converted into Bitcoin, which is a massive amount. I don't know what they're waiting for. I guess when they're talking about, supply shock, they're not really talking about people picking up 0.01 Bitcoin for whatever, a couple of $1,000s. They're looking at like millions of dollars, because whenever you try to sell or pick up on certain exchanges, whenever you try to pick up a lower cap coin or token that is not being traded well just yet, it's a nightmare. So I'll give you an example. Like I've tried to pick up some pudgy penguins on Corbit, and because the volume is so low, it takes forever to get an order filled. It's basically goes in batches because nobody buys a massive amount. If I wanted to buy $100,000 worth of pudgy penguins on Corbit, it'll be sold in batches because people buy a couple of $100 worth at a time, and it's impossible to make a purchase of. 30 million is for Bitcoin, but in any case, 30 million is a massive amount of money in any case. So wanting to purchase that kind of amount of Bitcoin is very different than buying, a couple of thousand, even $50,000 worth of Bitcoin is only half a Bitcoin right now. This will be scooped up immediately, but 30 million, that's a different way of moving money. Wall Street analyst has a blunt warning on surging stock. Circle stock tumbles after downgrade as analysts warn of overvaluation, rate risk, and rising competition. The public issuer of stablecoin USDC saw its shares shrink as much as 8% on July 22nd after Compass Point downgraded the stock from hold to sell, citing valuation concerns and increased competition in the digital asset market. The firm also reduced its price target on Circle to 130, down from 205, which suggested a pullback after the company's huge post-IPO run. Circle stock has increased over 500% since launching on June 5th, and growth has been fueled by the energized market environment spawned by the introduction of the Genius Act. That's a major problem with a lot of the crypto world, I think. A lot of it is overhyped, which is what drives the prices. So it's not really the value. I think that the true value of most tokens is seen during bear markets, when money flows out and everything dips. That's the true value of a token, particularly the shitcoins, particularly the meme coins, and the low caps. The low caps are basically pulled on the backs of the likes of Ethereum and Bitcoin, and basically the top 10 coins in the space. The money that flows into those coins kind of dribbles down into the lower caps as the market heats up. And during bear markets, all that money flows out of low cap coins, out of the shit coins and meme coins, and goes back into, I guess, stable coins, and then eventually back into the top 10. And so during those times, that's basically the time when you can see the true value of any project, of any coin or token, which is a lot less than what you see during the bear market, the bull markets, because when you see a 90% decline on a coin, that tells you something. Like, a lot of it was hype. It was just money grabbing, speculation, speculative investing, more so than anything else. Solana SSK ETF breaks 100 million as Wall Street warms to crypto staking. SSK, the first US ETF to combine spot Solana exposure with on-chain staking rewards, attracted over 100 million in 12 trading days. Since its launch on July 2nd, it amassed over $100 million in assets under management. The fund is the first US listed ETF to combine spot Solana exposure with on-chain staking rewards. While most crypto ETFs are registered under the Securities Act of 1933, which doesn't allow funds to distribute staking rewards, SSK is registered under the Investment Company Act of 1940. That structure permits the fund to pay out staking income like dividends, important to investors seeking yield, not just speculation on asset prices. This is kind of what BlackRock and other investment companies are looking to get in ETH ETF for. They're looking to provide the ability to receive staking returns on their Ethereum ETFs, which would be massive, I guess, and it would create a huge inflow of Ethereum into those ETFs once those ETFs were to be approved. You know, I just realized we didn't look at markets, at charts. So let's have a quick look. This is Pengu. It's Pengu on a Korean exchange, presently sitting at 65.1, which is not a lot. 65.1 is a tiny little amount, but basically I had some, I sold it, and then it pumped overnight. Damn it. That's usually the case. You sell, it pumps. You hold. I literally bought it here and it was just kind of dweeble, dabbling, moving sideways, and as soon as I sold, boom. Is not always the perception. That's usually the case. But let's have a look at Bitcoin. Where are we with Bitcoin here? Bitcoin is looking comfortably, sitting comfortably on the Fibonacci of 05. We're at $117,000. Actually, sorry, not $119,000. The bottom part of the candle here, not the wick, but the bottom part of the candle is literally like sitting very comfortably. Almost it's hovering right above 117,000, but this is the trend that Bitcoin has established right now. It hasn't changed since yesterday. I talked about it. 121 top and 117 bottom, support and resistance. That's the channel for Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin's moving sideways. Ethereum, on the other hand, has broken above all the three resistance lines that I talked about just a couple of days ago. It broke below that, but it's presently moving back up. We'll see how this candle ends up. It's only 2 hours left on the daily for this candle. Ethereum could see a little bit of a retracement. We could see Ethereum retrace back a little bit. I heard a bit of talk about, you know, Bitcoin making preparations for another run, and so if Bitcoin pumps, then I think some of the other coins may see a little bit of a retracement as profits are taking out of Ethereum and specifically and especially other tokens, lower caps, and put back into Bitcoin to give it that next leg up. But I mean, in any case, on the daily, like you see Ethereum, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of green candles. Massive pump for Ethereum, and it's going to continue. But for now, quick breather. ADA, what does ADA look like? ADA, you know, follows the same pattern. Really, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not consecutive, but basically a lot of green days with some red ones in between. 2 more hours. This looks like a bullish hammer candle, I think they call it, bearish hammer candle rather. But the support on Cardano is at 86 cents. So Cardano needs to hold that. I haven't drawn anything smaller. The Fibonacci here is pretty big. Let's see if I can draw up another fib. So if I draw a fib from the most recent high to the most recent low, which kind of nicely aligns with two wicks right here. So this seems to be the bottom line right now. So I don't think we'll be going below 50 cents anymore for the time being, even in a massive crash. And then we have a resistance here at 92 cents for Cardano. So that's probably what we're going to see right now. So Cardano needs to break the 93 cents, 92 cents. If it does break that, then obviously $1 is another resistance, which should be over here, right? Because I mean, that's going to be another massive resistance for Cardano. $1 line. Okay, here we got our dollar line. So these are the resistances for Cardano right now, but so far so good. ADA is doing well, and all-time high for ADA was $3 right here. No, not right here. $3.10. So hopefully this time around we're going to see a $5 Cardano. Shall we? Will we? That will be fantabulastic. And Dan DePiero sees crypto ecosystem reaching 50 trillion as he launches new 500 million fund under 50 trillion rebrand. Dan DePiero's 10 trillion and 1 RT funds, or 10T and 1 RT funds, have consolidated and rebranded as 50T. The consolidated firm has launched a new 500 million growth equity fund. DePiero sees the digital asset ecosystem reaching 50 trillion over the next decade, up from its original 10 trillion projections. The rebrand comes alongside revised market outlook from DePiero, who now sees the digital asset ecosystem reaching 50 trillion in value over the next decade, up from its original 10 trillion projection in 2022. DePiero said that this also includes the valuation of all public and private companies in the space, so not just the crypto market, but all companies. 2035 is also the year when we'll see a life-prolonging medicine being released. I don't know if you're into this kind of stuff, Brian Johnson, but apparently there is a researcher, a professor at Harvard University, who's working hard on developing basically pills that anybody could purchase and extend their life indefinitely. So 2035, man, make it to 2035, you'll be stinking rich and you'll be able to live forever. Bitcoin Archive, Jack Dorsey Square to allow merchant to accept Bitcoin native transactions from today. Boom, today we're onboarding our first new Square sellers for the new native Bitcoin acceptance experience. This is the way. Everybody's adopting the Mandalorian. PNC and Coinbase partner to offer crypto services. PNC Financial Services Group has partnered with Coinbase to offer cryptocurrency trading services directly through client accounts. Beginning in the United States on July 2025, PNC's wealth clients will gain the ability to exchange digital assets without requiring platform transitions. PNC Financial Services Group, ranked as the 8th largest US bank, has teamed up with Coinbase to provide a digital currency trading capability for clients. This move enables PNC's wealth clients to manage and trade digital assets directly within their existing accounts. This is massive because we all know very well what it takes, that there's a learning curve that is involved in learning how to trade, how to begin trading, how to begin buying cryptocurrencies. You've got the wallets, and there's a bit of learning curve, and there's a bit of stuff that you need to understand before you're able to make your first cryptocurrency purchase, right? But so now with the ability of people just going into their banking accounts and start trading through their banking accounts without having to do all of that, I assume that the bank will provide custody and all that stuff within its app. So it's going to make it a lot easier for customers to do the transactions, to conduct transactions without having to go through the hassle of learning all the wallet insides and outs and how to get fiat onto, convert it into cryptocurrencies. So this is massive. This is going to bank a lot of people and open doors to a lot of people who may otherwise not have been persuaded to do it. Because I mean, when you're in a banking environment, online banking, if you have online banking and you just save your money, but then you have a feature that allows you to purchase stocks very easily without having to go through third parties, then of course you're going to begin to wonder whether you could start trading stocks and simply invest out of curiosity. And so this is going to be the case with cryptocurrencies through the PNC Financial Services Group. People will begin to just dabble in cryptocurrencies out of curiosity, and once they start making money, more money is going to be going into crypto. Citadel warns SEC on tokenized equity carve-outs. The influential market maker urged caution as tokenized stocks gain momentum. Citadel Securities has urged the SEC to treat tokenized equities the same as traditional securities, cautioning that blockchain-enabled trading without robust regulation could harm liquidity, fairness, and transparency in the US markets. Citadel submitted a formal letter to the SEC warning that a rushed rollout of tokenized equities might drain liquidity from traditional markets and give crypto platforms unfair advantages. They're basically afraid of losing grasp on fiat. If money starts moving out of traditional TradFi into DeFi, then the likes of Citadel, if they don't keep up, if they don't create platforms that will allow people to stake on DeFi, they will lose out. And so this is why so many companies are rushing right now to pick up Bitcoin, to start securing their future in Bitcoin by purchasing Bitcoin and Ethereum right now for that very reason, because otherwise these companies will become, go in the way of the dodo or dinosaurs and become extinct if they don't get themselves sorted quickly and adopt cryptocurrencies and the new lifestyle that apparently is just like knocking on the door. Tong, 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 we're here. JP Morgan is exploring loans backed by crypto assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, possibly launching the service in 2026. I think that was talk for a while. JP Morgan is reported looking at offering loans backed by customer-held crypto assets such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. If implemented, it would mark a major shift for CEO Jamie Dimon, who once called Bitcoin a fraud and predicted it would collapse. Once again, the hypocrisy is out in the open for everyone to see. But so now, since Jamie Dimon hasn't taken the time to secure himself enough Bitcoin to do it himself, he has to rely on customer-held crypto assets. And so he's already announced that his banks will allow people to buy Bitcoin. And once people buy Bitcoin, he's going to take that Bitcoin and use it to lend out for for profits, obviously, right? For trading fees. It's just, man, oh man, he rubs me the wrong way so badly. Federal Reserve uses use of XRP globally, current status and implications. As digital currencies gain traction, all eyes are on the Fed evolving stance on XRP and its potential role in reshaping international payments. Did the Fed Reserve quietly authorize XRP to handle cross-border payments? So this is still a question. Nobody knows. It's not in the open. The Fed has never made an announcement, and they probably won't. Is America's central bank poised to dethrone the established players, SWIFT and wire transfer, and allow blockchain upstart to grab the throttle? Probably not. Probably not so fast. Right now, the Fed is wrestling with the possible departure of Jerome Powell. Good old Jer needs to retire and allow those rate cuts so that printers can come back on. The US dollar becomes devalued and the prices of all cryptocurrencies skyrocket, because that's how things will proceed. Cynthia Loomis, a Senate Republican, push new crypto rules to expand Clarity Act. The discussion draft led by Senator Scott and Loomis builds on the recently passed Clarity Act proposes new SEC rules and seeks stakeholder input. Unveiled Tuesday, the bill proposes clear definitions for non-security tokens, tailored disclosures, and modernized SEC oversight for digital assets. They're basically saying the SEC is outdated and they need to shape up or go home. The draft also includes a request for information seeking industry input on custody, illicit finance, and other key areas. Scott framed the proposal as part of a unified House-Senate effort to set clear guardrails and keep crypto innovation anchored in the USA. That's the priority. They're really, really gung-ho about making crypto based out of US. And, with the bans that England and India and China have imposed on cryptocurrencies, for whatever reason, USA is now taking hold, and they will get a hold of it. And once again, the USA will be a leader in innovation, while all the other countries are still, China had the perfect chance to make crypto its own and to build it. And they basically just said, no, forget it. We're banning it for the longest time. And India did the same thing. What a mistake. What a mistake on their part. And the USA and Trump, with his push for the adoption of cryptocurrencies, has gone light years ahead of that, as he says it. And he did the right thing, because this is the future, yo. Quick reminder that Crypto and Millennials is now ready to be picked up. You can pre-order it with one click. The book will become available on September 1st, but the manuscript is up. You should be able to have a quick look. It's 188 pages read. On Kindle, it's like, I don't know, it's a lot of pages. But it's 188 pages read on a regular size book. So there's a lot of information that I compacted into this book. It's $11. Pick it up, read through it, and you will become a lot smarter. Here's the book. I forget to switch. You will become a lot smarter, a lot more crypto savvy. I wish I had all this information that I jam-packed into this book. I wish I had it when I started my cryptocurrency journey in 2017. Unfortunately, there weren't too many books written about crypto back then just yet. But now, this one's here. Pick it up, read it, educate yourself. Also, remember to pick up a Descent wallet, Story of Crypto, on the only biometric wallet. You get a $30 discount with the purchase of one. You get a $99 discount with the purchase of two. So you get a better deal for the purchase of two. So pick it up right now. Also, remember to smash the likes on this video, subscribe to the channel. Today is Wednesday. Enjoy your hump day, and I will see you tomorrow on Thursday. Crypto Father out.